Barenaked. ABCs. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we discuss every single Barenaked Ladies song from 7 to Y. This week I'm joined by
Tracy, are you having problems with your memory?
Are you having a... Yeah.
I
Have
am.
you suffered some brain trauma?
I landed on my head earlier this week, and yeah.
What's the problem?
I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
You normally only do this at the end of the episodes. But to like front load it is deceptive.
Yeah, I know. Anything can happen.
It's Antero grade intro.
I always forget about
it. So yeah, this is Aaron. Hello, Betsy.
Mic check. Oh yeah, that's me. I'm Betsy.
I think Betsy landed on her head too.
Oh man, I might explain a few things. One or two.
And we are joined by. I'll let our guests introduce themselves.
I like that Aaron's taken over a little bit too. I just gotta drive.
Someone's gotta.
I know. Someone's gotta herd the cat.
Sometimes, I saw the bandages on Tracy's head, and I figured I better some assistance here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
the blood strike. Yeah, coming through.
But JD here, and
I'm Nick.
And we're from the previously recorded
Nice.
Killers Are Us from April or March that has yet to be edited.
Yep.
By me. So that's a thing.
So that's the new band that you're doing, the Killers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Although I did just remember, Nick, that there's a new Coldplay single coming out Friday, so we might need to do a
Another
fresh. This is
emergency
behind the scenes. Let's do behind the scenes talk on not our podcast. We need to do that first and then launch the Killers.
Those are
You
called
guys are going to
teasers.
be like, the Killers season is going to be like 10 years long because you're just going to go back and, B&L released a new album.
Yeah,
now
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's basically what you guys do except with the albums, because you guys, you're like, okay, we've got through the whole alphabet. There have been 3 new albums that have come out in that time, so now we have to go back.
I'm telling you, every time I think of
Always something to
Sisyphus,
do.
I just think hashtag literally me.
Thanks, Aaron. Thanks.
I love being here. Otherwise, I
But
wouldn't
without
be
the
here.
suffering.
Some weeks you aren't. Is that meaning? Never mind. So this week we are going to discuss the song "Landed on My Head."
Hell no, I'm not asking for attention. Seems though I may have increased all the tension. Let go, maybe we won't need to mention how I landed on my head. Landed on my head. How I landed on my head.
Which is on which album, Aaron?
Oh my God, you haven't asked me in so long. I wasn't even thinking about it.
It's a trick question. It's not on either.
Okay, this was. Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't this made like for this Super Bob
made
Einstein
fresh.
movie?
It was
Okay, I got
perfectly
there. See?
done. Nicely
I
done.
stuck the landing.
Very good.
Yeah.
Landed on my head.
Damn it.
You landed on your head, but it was perfectly done, and you didn't unbalance, and you're just still standing on your
just
head.
a little pirouette
I made it graceful.
on your head. Yep.
Yes,
Making it
so this
look
was a
easy.
single release. It was just for the Super Bob Einstein movie, but that was the only song on the Super Bob Einstein movie, so they just released it
Okay.
themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
As you
quite
said
sure.
that, I was like, oh, that was the name of the whole soundtrack, wasn't it? So I went up to see who else did stuff for the soundtrack. I guess
Oh
no
wow.
one.
Okay, this was
Nope.
What you just said.
very exclusive.
One and done.
So, in preparing for this week, I have literally watched 7 hours of Super Bob Einstein stuff, Super
Wow.
Dave, etc., as well as his
Fearless
other
leader.
personas, including on Curb Your Enthusiasm, etc., etc. I am now Super Bob Einstein out. But the great news in doing that was I found out something I didn't know before, which was, according to the biography movie, the reason that BNL, I believe, was asked to do this song was that Tyler was a production assistant on the TV show.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty cool.
In
Really?
1988.
What?
Wow.
That's really cool. I didn't know he had any history like that.
He
Yeah.
had that career. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him having that history, but I didn't know he was involved in that. Oh, was that in the book?
Yeah, and it show, in the movie it shows pictures of him on the set. I'm like, oh my god! It's like, oh no, he's just goofing. Oh no, that's really him on set, huh?
Oh.
88, you said? Where does that put them in their career?
That would be just before he joined BNL, just as BNL was just taking off or just starting up.
Wow.
For him.
I'm pretty sure that's in the book.
I didn't see it in the
Tyler.
Bible. You good luck finding that.
Oh, well, thank you for the well wishes.
It
I
was
will.
immediately after Ezekiel beget Abraham.
I know. This is definitely not Exodus material.
I mean, it has been 6 years since I've read that thing, so
And fun.
Yeah.
Tyler Stewart entering the
verily.
band.
Oh, nice.
yes.
Okay. So leaving Ryerson, Tyler suffered through a variety of decidedly unglamorous production assistant jobs in the television field. He was a self-described techie for the Super Dave show, which was taped in Scarborough but syndicated around the world. Super Dave was a fictional low-grade daredevil who attempted to emulate real-life stunt jumper Evel Knievel. But like Toonsis, the cat on Saturday Night Live, who could drive a car, he just wasn't very
Low
good.
grade.
And there's a little more. Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop.
He wasn't very good. How
Yeah,
dare
some-
they?
Look,
There's some.
he was very
Well,
entertaining, and that's what matters.
The long and short of it. There's some cute wordplay in there too, but yeah, you're in the entertainment field. If you're entertaining, then I
No.
suppose you're doing your job.
I don't know about any of you, but I first learned about Super Dave, the character, from the animated show. Did any of you see
Oh.
that? Am I hallucinating? This did exist, right? Yeah. Okay.
Both could be.
I
true.
did watch a lot of that.
No, I gotta say that
The kids were very entertained by that this week. I was entertained by the last 5 minutes of that.
I can appreciate that.
I gotta say my my knowledge of him really was Arrested Development, and I recognized when I was reading the filmography, I was like, oh, he was in Ocean's 13. Like I was like, I remember that scene, but I did not know any of the stuntman stuff or any of that history. I binged 4 sketches in the past hour. Was
Sorry, go ahead.
heavily entertained and very
I
much
just wanted to ask
enjoyed it.
JD if you
But-
saw the
go
jump
ahead.
or the fall off of the CN Tower.
Yes, I saw that one, and then I saw.
Oh my God,
The first
yeah.
one I watched was
Which they reference in the song,
Wrecking
yeah,
Ball, which was really good.
Oh,
Yeah. And then I told Nick, or I don't know if I actually texted you this, Nick, but I saw that he was on Comedy Bang Bang on the TV show for one episode.
shit.
So I want to find
No, I
that.
don't
Then.
remember
Yeah,
I
that.
didn't get to watch that.
I loved him as
Not
Larry
in the
Middleman.
pod, just the TV show.
The what do they call it? The proxy or no? The
Yeah.
yeah.
The proxy, yeah.
In
I think it was-
Arrested Development.
So
Good.
good.
Yeah.
my
he's
my
great.
favorite of his was when he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, because he was just
Good
absolutely
old Funkhauser.
amazing, in his role on that.
Yeah.
Super funny guy. I didn't realize he wrote for the Smothers
Yeah.
Brothers show and apparently shared an office with Steve Martin until I started doing some research.
Oh, he didn't just share an office with him. They were the comedy team. Like, yeah.
They like co-wrote a lot. Yeah, like that's amazing to me.
So yeah, we should talk
That's
a little
really
bit
cool.
about who Bob Einstein was. So he was
Albert's
born
brother.
Stuart.
Don't say.
No relation, actually.
That's what I was gonna say.
But he wasn't Albert's brother. He was Albert Brooks's brother. And they never appeared on scene except for one scene in Modern Romance, which is an amazing scene. If you ever get a chance to see it, it is perfect for both of them, with them playing off each other. I mean, I recommend watching anything with Bob Einstein in it. He is just phenomenal. So he was born Stuart Robert Einstein Everyone in the entertainment community knew him as Bob, and his father was a well-known radio actor, and his mother was an actress-singer. At the age of 6, Bob got polio and was forced to stay home for a year, during which time he spent a huge amount of time with his dad, who was such a great comedian, and it definitely affected his sense of humor. His father, being the comedian that he was extremely big in radio, but also had some movies that he had made. His big character that he played was the Greek character of Parkikarkus. And I had to work on pronouncing that correctly because it's important.
Yeah, I saw the brain engaged. Very good.
However, on the night that his dad was doing the Dezi Arnaz roast in Las Vegas, his father got up, did 10 minutes of work, 10 minutes of the roast, and as he was sitting down, had a heart attack and died immediately.
Like the roast?
Traumatizing.
At the roast.
That's wow.
And Bob Einstein didn't find out. Bob didn't find out until the next
God.
morning.
Oh,
And he heard about it on the radio.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, and then at the funeral, of course, all of Harry's friends were comedians, and at the funeral, his friends did a lot of their jokes and kind of to honor him is the right word, I guess, but Bob didn't see it that way. He was extremely offended, and it shut him off from doing any entertainment at all. Matter of fact, he picked on his younger brother Albert, for a long time about doing entertainment and tried to convince him to not go into it. Went into college, was a basketball star in college, and then after leaving college, he worked 3 years. You should have said that, Betsy.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow. I figured if you thought it was valuable, you'd bring it in. But
no, Betsy, he was not the kind of guy to laugh at a funeral. Nicely done.
Not too bad.
Nicely done. So after 3 years of working at an ad agency, he asked to do an interview with his friend on his friend's show. And he came into the interview, which is absolutely phenomenal. If you get a chance to watch it, please do. Where Bob pretends to be the person who puts stars on the Walk of Fame. Well, he was doing what he does best, which is just that very dry delivery. And then an audience member that was planted asks him how he could get himself on the Hall of Fame and would he do it for him, and he gets very offended that this person would shun him and say that he would belittle him about putting his own star on the Walk of Fame, and then turns around and says $10. It was such a great skit. It was such a great interview that Tom Smothers called him up the next morning. And 3 months later, he started writing for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour, where he worked with Steve Martin. That's where he created the famous Officer Judy character, which, again, watch that skit. It is amazing. And then he and Steve Martin worked together for a very long time on Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, the Van Dyke and Company comedy. He then went on to do Bizarre and several other TV shows and just took off. He was nominated for 6 Emmys for writing. He won 2 of them, one of which was his first year writing with the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour.
Wow.
And it was around the time that he did the Van Dyke and Company Comedy Hour that he came up with his character, Super Dave, who was a naive but optimistic, accomplished stuntman who frequently comedically got injured when his stunts went spectacularly wrong. And most of the interviews that he did on late night, he would go in as this character. Yeah. Now, one of my favorite skits of his, I wanted to play for you guys. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it is a phenomenal skit. So this skit is called King of the Road. Of course, I will edit it out of the cast because it's 6 minutes long, but you have to watch the entire 6 minutes because a lot of Super Dave's things where you know what's coming.
Waiting.
But the joke is in the waiting around for it and all the stuff that happens in between while you're waiting for the joke to fall. And then when it does, you've built up so much tension and suspense that you're like, finally!
He's great at stringing it out and making it, it's going to happen. Something disastrous will occur, but he just keeps going and going and just waiting for it.
It's like a milder version of Jackass somehow.
Yeah, I bet you they were inspired just a little bit by Super Dave.
What if we did this but could actually get hurt?
I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. What if you do with us another dummy being thrown off the CN tower?
Let's make it more authentic, yeah.
It reminds me of Mac and Me, where the little kid in the wheelchair goes over the cliff.
Yes! Music
It's
in
like
the wheelchair.
the most obvious dummy ever.
Paul Rudd's most famous scene.
Ragdoll being thrown
Oh my
away.
god. The greatest recurring joke ever on late night.
But I wonder too, like, not to keep harping on about Comedy Bang Bang, but this was the earliest I'd ever seen the concept of an actor coming on to a real late night show as a character. Like, you could say Andy Kaufman was doing some of that too, but that was more like up in the air. I don't know, and this might be ignorance. I don't know of other people who were doing in like the 60s or the 70s or even earlier, like going on as somebody else when the crowd and the viewers aren't necessarily in on that. Yeah.
They're not in on it. Yeah, I think
pretty-
it was
yeah, it's
pretty
really
rare
cool.
for sure. Definitely the same kind of performance art area that Kaufman was playing in.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, why don't we talk a little bit about about the song?
Probably a good idea.
Do you want to do music first?
Let's do the music first. Aaron, do you want to give us a breakdown?
All right, let's break it down. Well, Landed on My Head was recorded at exactly 88 beats per minute. Mostly
88 miles per hour.
It's the tempo at which you can travel through time. But you need to have a flux capacitor attached to your metronome. 88 beats per minute, mostly in the key of E minor, mostly, to paraphrase Newt from Aliens. Appropriately enough, we did mention this, but Super Dave once fell off the CN Tower, which we saw See the Tower, or we did an episode on See the Tower a while back. It made me smile. For the changes, so this is the interesting part. So for the verse, we have E minor to D to B minor to C, and then E minor to C to D to E to D, A minor to C, A minor to E minor to F to D. So that all fits comfortably within E minor. But when we get to the chorus, the hell no part, I am suggesting that we have changed keys and are now playing in C Lydian. So we use the same chords as G major, but C is the tonic, the tonal center of the chorus. The reason I say this is because our chords are C major to D major to B minor to E minor, and we repeat this figure until the end when we play a C dominant, which is C major chord with a dominant or flat 7, so C, E, G, B flat, and then B major, which of course is not diatonic to C Lydian. When we last heard a B in the chorus, it was a B minor, which is diatonic. So there's this nice little borrowed chord, which turns around nicely, acting as the 5 to our original tonic E. So we land back on E minor, we're back where we started. And that's pretty much the only two real sections. The intro is sort of like an amalgam of the verse and the chorus, and then there's a solo segment that acts sort of as a bridge. So we say verse 1 is our A changes, chorus is our B changes, verse 2 A, chorus B. Then we have this accordion and piano solo. And again, it's sort of like an abridged version, like a shortened version of both the A and B sections. And then verse 3, A section, then chorus back to B. So we have A, B, then either a C or arguably A, B. One more A section, one more B section. It's pretty simple form, nothing too crazy going on. But it is interesting. There's that nice little kind of key change in the chorus. I really like the instrumentation I like the recording. It's very high quality. I'm a huge fan of accordion in rock music, actually. Not just Weird Al, They Might Be Giants, but Oingo Boingo. Actually, my most famous example, I think, or the example, Lady Your Roof Brings Me Down by Scott Weiland. Amazing song, and it has really, really good accordion in it. But anyways, it's, I'm a huge fan of accordion and rock music, so it's got that going for it, which is nice. It's about Super Dave Osborne, so that's in its favor too. I haven't seen the Super Bob Einstein movie yet, but since I learned about it while researching the song, I'm pretty stoked to see it.
Have you seen the Extreme Adventures of Super Dave?
I don't know. I've seen various clips of Super Dave, like the one you showed and the one with the CN Tower, and I've seen the animated series, whatever that was called. I don't remember the name, when I was a child. And then obviously I saw him in Arrested Development and Curb Your Enthusiasm. But is that a live show that he did?
Nope. So the Extreme Adventures of Super Dave was made in 2000. It was a movie that was made directly with a plot around Super Dave himself.
Cool.
Really good, really funny. Lots of course, the normal pranks that you would expect from Super Dave. I highly recommend it. I watched it with the kids this week, and we were laughing constantly.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
One that you can't watch is with the kids is his episodes that he did with the comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld.
It's a good series.
I love that series. It's really good.
I love the series, and his 2 appearances on that series in the first season.
He was twice in the first season.
Hilarious.
He was the only I thought he was one of the only 2 to
Yes.
do it twice. I didn't realize it was all in season 1. Very.
Yeah, and he was the first person to come back.
Yeah,
for
that's
a
what I meant. I
second
didn't realize. I
episode.
thought that was like a season or 2 later. But no, wow, he's good.
Nope. Right in this, like, if you look at it on the Netflix as it breaks down, it's like 3 episodes later. And you're like, oh, they just used stuff that they couldn't use in the first. No, completely different car. Like, they go to different places. Like, discussions are completely off. So
I used to be
it was
a huge Ricky Gervais fan. Like cutouts from magazines on the wall, huge. And I think he was like maybe the first episode or one of the first episodes was Gervais, and I was like obsessed with that. And then fast forward to 2024, I'm not as huge of a fan of either of them as I used to be, but Jerry still is the one like doing a lot of really fun stuff. But because of that, I watched that whole first season, like once it was finally all out, and I remember 0 of it, including the Gervais one, which I was the most psyched to watch. So I'm pretty sure he's pretty funny, but apparently I've seen him twice and do not remember it for a second. That was 14 years ago, probably.
Could be a head injury. Yeah, it's true.
Anyway.
This is a weird song, which I think goes perfectly with what they're talking about and where they're going, but the sound of it is very different than what you would get for a lot of different B&L.
Very bouncy.
Yeah, I sent you that link. Did you get it? I saw some similarities with the music.
Not only is it weird musically, not weird, different than musically, especially coming out, 2-3 years ago, between, like, as we would say, de Trois and In Flight, to have that kind of song in that era was especially, like, I would have thought that came out in, like, the late 2000s, like, Me and Men era.
Yeah, it had a similar feel to it.
Then one day I was not alone. Everything had changed. Everything was strange. Everything had changed. Everything was strange. Everything had changed. Everything was strange. Everything had changed. Everything.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, minus the
I
intro.
remember the
This
intro
is
being
kind
this
of what
long.
it sounds like to me.
Back
I heard some of this and that, only a different mood and a different tone. Obviously, it's not as ominous and
Well, it's because it's not
dour.
Steve.
Right. That's a big component as well.
It's very accordion heavy. You guys listen? This is a sidebar with the few minutes we have before we break. Have you listened to any of the transcontinental highwaymen thing that they've got going on?
I've heard that.
Shoot, sorry.
No, we just the three of us
yeah.
just went and saw them live. So
We just,
Oh, you did? How was it? Was it? Oh, cool.
Ooh, oh yeah, we got autographs.
like literally,
That's
like
so
what,
good.
4 days ago, 5 days ago.
Yeah,
Great.
Thursday.
I saw that they did U.S. Day. Did you go to the U.S.
So-
or were you up in Canada?
So funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, I saw when they announced.
We went to Derry, New Hampshire. Tupelo Hall.
That's a shame.
No.
Always a shame.
That was a great show.
Nobody had to float.
Yeah,
Right.
they were fantastic. Yeah.
You need something to do in the off season.
Yeah, it was in.
That's cool. I'm glad.
Yeah,
Pennywise did.
we didn't
Keep your
see
skills
Pennywise, but we did go to Derry.
It's the clown in the back.
Yeah, right. I was hoping one more autograph to add to the album, even though he wasn't really involved. He just ran the mixer while the engineer had to go get coffee. Yeah, you know.
It's a. We can offline it, but basically it's a band that Steve's in right now. But it's like a bunch of like I think Craig's in it, and then
I don't know
a
anything
couple
about
of
this.
people
What
whose
is
names
this?
escape me right now. But it's a Canadian
Mo-
famous.
Mo Berg
And
and the guy
Oh,
from
yeah,
Slow.
Chris
Anderson?
Chris Murphy.
Uh,
Murphy.
Murphy. Thank you.
Just hearing Steve sing, I was like, man, what's that guy up to? Oh, right, he's that cool. He's awesome. It genuinely looks great, but just never get the chance. Anywho,
Yeah,
oh, that's
and
cool.
Chris.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's bouncy like that, and it's quirky. I like when they do something quirky with the
Oh.
music every now and then, like
This.
once or twice on an album, give us something different. And I wish this had been on an album because this would have fit so well with that. Let's add a little flavor to this album now.
yeah. I'm just thinking of 40 for a while. So I spicing things up style wise, and I was like, oh right, that exists still. So anywho,
That didn't age so well. It was 50 for a while.
oh right.
Sorry, I had to go for the pun. I purchased this, but you can't buy like an actual physical version of this, so I can't get the information about like who played what and what other instruments might be in the background on this. So I'm a little bummed about that.
If only we had direct
do
access
that.
to their cell phone numbers and we could just like call up Kevin or something.
Do you have that?
Oh yeah, I have that.
Kevin's number
Yeah,
3 on her
right.
speed dial.
Now who's 1 and 2?
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, I could ask him when I'm outside of his window
Yeah,
tonight, but I
come
don't
to
think
my
Kevin will
window.
respond that way.
Yeah, he doesn't
No,
like.
he's got
yeah.
soundproof glass. He can't hear you from the bushes anymore, Tracy.
That's the difference. I knew.
Hold the
Yeah.
boombox up over your head,
French
you know.
goat.
I knew it was more than just the tinted glass. That
Yeah.
explains it. He's not just ignoring me.
Wait,
Literally can't hear me anymore.
Aw.
Couldn't.
I do want to point out, and when talking about the music, though, the radio filter that's in verse 3, that wonderful homage to Harry, is just great. I love it.
I'm looking for it.
But yeah, musically, that's the only thing I have to say about it. Anyone else have things to add musically?
The only other thing I had is that didn't they at some point do something similar where they kind of transformed like It's All Been Done for one little slip? I kind of feel like that's kind of what they did here with
Everything had
and
changed.
they just kind of like rehashed it and made it into like a little meatloaf that was like something similar, but
is that like a known thing, or it's just like
Oh, they-
shoot when
yeah.
you listen to them they basically did that, or have they said because you said that feeling like this.
wasn't our conclusion that was it our conclusion that they had done that, or was that like an actual fact? Okay.
It was an actual fact. They actually did it because the people who wrote the movie asked them to write a song, and they're like,
Wow.
"Well, can you? This song doesn't apply, but can you do something very much like that?" And so they literally just took that
And ended up not
and built
using it,
from
right?
That's crazy.
Or was that the one they used or not? Yeah. Oh no, there's a thing. There's a thing for Shrek, right? They did too. That they were going to use it, but they decided against it.
Wait, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't remember what it was.
I can't remember it
though.
either. I can't grab it in my brain.
Huh.
I have to go back and listen to all 330 episodes.
Yeah, get right on that.
Sorry, I just Googled BNL Shrek,
dear.
and not much is coming up.
Yeah,
but
me
the
too.
top question is: people also ask, "What's that one song from Shrek?"
Yeah, because they went with "I'm a Believer" instead of what they were going to submit. But I can't remember what they're going to submit. There, I give you a little dark web BNL stuff. With not,
So
with
the
not
crossover
with not
between
any
Every
actual
Smell
1
Fun
information.
week since
BNL.
we left the swamp.
I know that Nick and I at least talked about it on our show, but the first time I ever heard BNL was on the Digimon soundtrack.
No
Because I'm
way.
pretty sure 1 week was on the Digimon
Oh my
movie
god.
soundtrack. And
I did not know
And
that.
that's how we got to where we are now.
Have you seen
So-
the Digimon movie where the guy's like, "That's the saddest story I've ever heard," and the other guy's like, "Calm down, I'm the one with the problem, not you." And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Is that the one from like 25 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was like the first
That's probably
Digimon
the one.
movie.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, I gotta watch that now. I've only ever seen that clip.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the lyrics of this song, because I think the lyrics are
That's probably
really
the same one.
the amazing piece of this. They do such a fundamental job of getting the essence of Bob without actually ever saying his name or saying specifically that it's about him.
Which is great because the first line is, "You know my face, not my name."
Yeah.
Do you think that's basically a reference to Bob being essentially a character actor? One of those guys who you're like, "Oh, it's that guy." You know, me, I'm a cinnamon nerd, so, you know, I'm like, "Oh, Harry Dean Stanton," but, like, you know, I get it.
Well, not my name, you know, and he went by a different name than what he was given too. So
Yeah, that's true. You might know him as
yeah.
Super Dave Osborne
Yeah.
instead of Bob Einstein.
Yep.
I think it's got to be that. I mean, that's exactly what my experience was like this when we started talking about the song was Googling name and being like, "Oh yeah, that guy!" Like immediately in his face.
And for a long
I'm a
time,
big fan of character actors. Like, they give so much color to film. Sorry, go ahead, Tracy.
well, for a long time, I didn't realize he was playing a character.
Yeah.
Like I would watch him on late night with interviews
seen
with
him
Johnny
and stuff.
Carson and Jay Leno, and I knew him as Super Dave. Like that's who I knew him to be.
That guy is.
And
Yeah, I mean, you can believe him as, like, he's playing a exaggerated version of himself or whatever, and he's just kind of doing a shticky thing or whatever. You could potentially read him like that for sure.
And I thought, like, for a long time, I was like, wow, he's a bit of a jerk. Like, why do they keep asking him back on the show?
Yeah. Wow, his stunts never go right. Like, why do they keep having him back? You think at a certain point they'd be like, "I'm sorry." Yeah.
Well, I knew that the stuff, I'm not that naive.
Yeah. I'm being silly.
I knew that was part of the joke, but, like, when he was on these interviews, he's very acerbic. And one of the things that Bob Einstein does really well is he's very
Super
straight and
dry.
very dry,
Yeah.
but he also has
Yeah.
that tinge of anger in the things that he does.
I think that's why he was so perfect as. Oh, that's what the surrogate in Arrested Development,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's essentially playing himself, playing George Bluth, right? You know, so like, it's just he's got that kind of anger underneath the surface or whatever, because he's repeating everything the character's saying. So he's like saying, "No, you idiot, don't say that." But he's got that underneath, the frustration underneath, where he's like, "I hate this guy, I hate my job, I hate my life," and it's just really, really funny.
He is perfect for that role.
For sure.
Yeah.
The other note I had is what Sarah Silverman said in the movie, in the biography about him, is that he's the one man straight man, which is amazing because usually you need the straight man, you need the funny man. Like the straight man sets up the jokes for the funny man to take over, and then everyone laughs at the funny man. He never needed the extra person. Like he was just right there, ready and able to make that joke, but do it in such a straight and dry and flawless way, and with such honesty.
Yeah.
And behind, even when he was angry, there was kindness in it. You know, even when he was calling someone a schmuck or something like that, or a putz, like there was never like vitriol behind it. And he brought that genuine honesty every single time, so it allowed you to laugh at the joke that he was telling.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as, you know, him being... He's both the straight man and the funny man. Like, the comedy comes from him intending to be the straight man or trying to be the straight man. It's kind of similar to Peter Sellers in the old Pink Panther movies.
Yes.
Where, to me, yes, it's funny to watch him, like, go flying down a flight of stairs, but it's when he, like, picks himself up and he's like, just acting like he meant to do it and trying to sell it as, oh, yeah, that's just
what I do.
That's my acrobatic exercise routine. I always throw myself down the stairs. Like, that's what makes it funny. And that's the same thing with Super Dave, where he's just like, yeah, no, I'm a totally super pro stuntman.
Especially even in a couple of the skits where he says he's calling off a stunt, where he's like,
yeah,
it's just too difficult. I don't think I can.
Can't do it.
Work, and then something still happens.
And one of the great things he would do when he did like the late night stand-up or the late night interviews is he would come in with the skit, obviously, where he was going to do the stunt and it was going to fail. And they'd be like, well, let's show that video. He's like, no, that's quite okay. Anyways, on to this other thing. Like, no, we're not going to show that. I don't want to go.
Right.
Just playing this character to the T of like, yeah, please don't show this thing that I really want you to show. And Jimmy Kimmel pissed him off really bad one night because he said, well, let's go to commercial instead then.
Oh, no.
They went to commercial.
He called his bluff.
And so when they came back, obviously they showed the scene, but like he just played the character so well that you wanted to follow through with it.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And Jimmy Kimmel said, I think that's the reason he respects me is because I called him on that bluff.
When you don't want your improv partner to yes and. You want them to no buts.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to commercial. Yeah, it's one of those songs where, like, especially musically, I really appreciate it because it is so different, especially from, if you want to say, modern BNL. And I like a portion of it.
You'll get no argument here.
We're in a safe space, Jay.
I know. I just like
we've been sitting here in the morass of modern BNL for.
I still like a lot of it, like genuinely, but I just feel like after every new album, the percentage slips a little bit more this way, you know. Yeah. There's less songs that I want to defend.
There's still treasure to be found, but yeah, you have to dive deeper.
The respirator and scuba gear and things, yeah.
There's gold in them hair heels. You just gotta dig.
So I appreciate it musically a lot, and I think as an homage to him, it's perfect. It's one of those songs though where like it's so specific in its subject matter that it's hard to either, for me personally, to either A, revisit, or B, see through a different lens, because the lens is so like, here's what we're singing about, because we know that it's from that. And there are so many like really fun references. Like I watched literally, like I said, 2 skits and then read the lyrics again, and I was like, oh, that's referencing that one. Oh, that's referencing that one. Like it's really cool how much of like an honor to him it is. But I think, and this isn't a bad thing at all. I think like that's what it functions as, and it doesn't function much else outside of that. Like as far as I know, they never even performed it. You know, they did it for the soundtrack because they like it. And Tracy's face looks like I'm gonna fact check that because it's a fact check. took that slot from the set list. Years.
I'd be okay with that actually.
Yeah.
It didn't dethrone the Big Bang.
They preface it like, we wrote this song for some media that you guys might all know of, and it's one of our bigger hits. So here we go.
That would actually be amazing.
That would be. Bob Einstein would so be behind that though. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
right,
It's the same
exactly.
kind of fake out.
Call Kevin again.
Yeah.
You want to hear HBO fans?
no, they have never played this live.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm actually kind of surprised. It's a good song. It's solid.
I would rather hear
Well,
this live than hear 1 week or
Yeah.
Pinch Me. Well, no, Pinch Me I'd love to hear anyways. But and
Yeah.
any of those ones they played a million times before,
They can
I'd
work
rather
live,
hear
for
something
sure.
like this that's new and re-energizing.
Yeah, my head is going down towards my ranty phase that we always get on about this because I'm in full agreement. But just like, okay, 10-second sidetrack.
One
They're
of
one
the
of those
15.
bands that are in a perfect position fan base wise
Oh, yeah.
to do a small theater or not club, a small theater tour that's like what they like the just
Yeah.
the B-sides, just
I'd
the
be on
deep
board for
cuts.
that.
That'd be really cool.
Like it's not going to be Pine Knob, but you're going to sell out, and it's going to be. It's like their Christmas shows that they've been doing at smaller venues. It could do really well, and ideally be
Red
refreshing
Rock.
for
And,
them
and
too.
Aaron had a
Anyway.
great idea that he posed to us the other day on the way back from the concert
Your
What's that? I don't
brainchild.
remember.
with another tour, but you have to have Steven along with
Oh,
it, and you would
yeah.
have to name it. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Aaron.
tell
I'll let
Kevin.
you take it.
It's like I don't remember.
I don't even remember. I don't even remember
You
my
don't
joke.
remember?
now.
Oh well, you said
No.
well it would be B&L even.
Oh
Steven.
yeah, even Steven.
Even Steven. Yeah. Okay. I'll give myself
Yeah.
props. That was pretty good.
That is amazing. I'm like that is gold.
Go see B&L. Even
I think
Steven.
we had so much
But Steven
karaoke
is
and
solo
Joko songs after, so we kind of got the B&L out of our heads. So that's probably why.
That's actually JD. They could book it as though Steven were just opening for them.
Right.
And then
Right.
there'll be like a moment where they handshake or hug or something. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet." And then he leaves, and then they come on, or they take their stage, and he comes right back out. That would be incredible. Steven, we know you're listening.
He's
You
a
gotta
little
do
bit more
this.
though. Where like he functions as like a roadie for a little bit. Where like
He's like-
with guitars a couple of times. And then finally he comes out with a guitar and then he plays that.
That would be
song.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the Hell Froze
That was
Over
good.
tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that might actually be the last Summer on Earth tour where he coming.
Please.
One thing I did want to point out lyrically about this is usually you have that chorus. I don't know if you called it a chorus or a pre-chorus, Aaron.
I'd say it's a chorus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
'cause
no.
it's leading into that line of "Landed on My Head," but they change the lines every single time. They do not
Yeah.
say the same thing twice, which is hilarious.
Yeah, because
That's one thing I used to do in a lot of my early songs I was writing because I thought it was really clever. And then I was like, well, it's not clever if that's the only effing trick that you have to. I stopped doing it like immediately after that.
Your stuff is good.
Oh, no, yeah. The stuff that's been released is okay. It's the, sitting in the
oh
notebook. That's
man,
not that great.
relatable JD being relatable. I can't tell you how many songs I've started and then been like, no, let's just never ever do anything with that again.
Yeah,
Or it
right.
was just a
My fiance
thesaurus.
said that to me maybe about a year ago when I was releasing, like, finishing up the EP that came out last year. She was like, I've seen you write so many songs for this that didn't end up going on it. And she's like, it's just crazy to me that, because she's an artist. So I'm like, well, it's the same drawing or painting, or, like, there are things that you start that won't be finished. And I'm like, but I maybe personally feel like words that you've written down can be more embarrassing than a piece of art that you're trying to go, oh, I just don't think that's going anywhere. Where I look back at things and I go, what on
Oh
earth were you
man,
trying to
yeah.
do with that? How are you 14 at 23, dude? Like, that is not. But yes, it's just like that's a notebook song.
14 at 23. I like that.
14 and 23.
Yeah.
14 for a while.
Oh, wow.
Nice setup for the
Nice.
spit take on that one.
Spiritual successor to 25 versus
Yeah.
4.
Anyway, that'll be the demos like B-side album that I release in
There
a few
we go.
years. It's like all
Disc
that random
2.
crap. The voice notes.
Disc
Yeah,
2, that's
exactly.
perfect.
One of the lines that's in here that I think is amazing is what they keep coming back to it. So let's not mention how I landed on my head, because going back to those interviews that he would do, he would always try to avoid mentioning that video. He'd always try to avoid talking about that video.
That's great. That's such good character building. Like I love recurring. It's so good.
No, I miss Bob Einstein. I wish that he were still with us. He was a comic genius, and
sure.
it makes me sad that we no longer have him, on our earth and sharing with us anymore to make us laugh.
Yeah.
One of the great things that in his biography that they said was that his wife said, "We didn't have a perfect marriage, but he made me laugh every day." Like, that was just him.
It reminds me of a quote from, I think it's Ocean's 11. It is with Julia Roberts and Clooney, where she's with Andy. This is deep. Andy Garcia's character, but they sit down, like the exes. They used to be murdered, and Clooney goes, "Does he make you laugh?" And she goes, "He doesn't make me cry."
my God.
And that she realizes that, like, no, and I'm like, that hits
Ouch.
deep. But then not just like that's a heavy hitting line. But then the rest of it. But it reminds me of, like, he made me laugh every day. Like, that's one of the big things. That's one of the, you have fun with your person.
Yeah.
That's.
I was thinking Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where Eddie asks Jessica why she married Roger, and she says, "He makes me laugh." The ultimate Riz is his comedy.
Well, what are we going to rank this on?
Concussions.
Ooh, good question. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've abandoned the search. You have immediately landed upon the
big
exact
bucks.
right one. That was
What is this,
fantastic.
the NFL?
I get a commission on every rating, so thanks guys. I do.
You get a commission on every.
It makes so much
She gets
money.
the rating bonus. Oh yeah, all the monies.
Well, I'm going to make you earn your money, Betsy, and have you go first then.
Well, I have a confession actually first. I never really knew about Bob Einstein until I read the Barenaked Ladies autobiography. So when I was searching for him, I'd look up Bob Einstein and it'd be like, Super Dave. I'm like, no, I want Bob Einstein. So I'm starting at ground
Why
zero.
does the Super Dave guy keep coming up?
So in that regard, this song isn't like, wow, man, this is about my favorite person or anything. But it was very well done. I like it better when I heard it as Everything Had Changed. And they did a good job, doing what they do best, which is the wordplay, and Kevin on, his little, oh my God. Wow, I think I laid it on my head. Not the squeeze box. Accordion, thank you.
Accordion?
My God. Oh, my God.
Yes.
I didn't know if you were trying to show her there, JD,
that
or
was
if you were just doing your
intentional.
Donald
I'm
Trump
faking
impression.
a head injury.
That was a hint.
The thing.
We all apparently have like concussions because
I played
It's all,
better than anyone.
I couldn't
pandering to the point of the concussion.
I couldn't remember Jeffrey
Oh,
Tambor's
really?
name minutes ago. So there we go. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's character.
Tambourine.
Welcome to my world every
Welcome
second
to
of the
my
day.
world. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have a special place in my heart, but it's a good song, so I guess I would say 3.4.
3.4.
Respectable.
Okay.
Respectable.
All right. What about you, Aaron?
Well, I do have memories of Super Dave, specifically from the animated show from my childhood. So there is a certain amount of nostalgia there. Plus, again, loved his performances in Curb and Arrested. But I tend to agree with everything Betsy said. It's a very good song, and certainly I agree with the sentiment we discussed earlier. In as much as I think it's a nice breath of fresh air from a lot of the songs on the later albums have kind of been like, it's almost like, the meme about everything evolves towards crab. Like everything is eventually going to look like a crab.
Yes.
It's kind of like that. I feel like there's a channeling of sort that's happening, and just it's like a narrowing of scope, and like more of their songs are sounding kind of samey. So it is nice to hear something different. There's like a little Zydeco kind of kick in there with the accordion, and it's kind of lively and it's fun. It's got kind of bouncy. It almost sounds like The Police at times, where you got the reggae bounce going on or something. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, for sure. So I don't know. Yeah, it's different, and I like that, and it's well done. Like I said, it's a very clean, nicely recorded song. So I'm gonna give it 3.6 concussions.
3.6 concussions. Okay. All right. What about you, JD?
Well, Nick just texted me.
Oh,
Just lost power.
Oh,
that's funny.
no.
As you were saying it, he was still there smiling. I'm like, what did he text you?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I looked up and saw.
So,
I've got the 3 dots for him.
Well,
We'll see what happens.
while
have
you're
him record
waiting,
his-
tell us what he said. What were his?
Yeah.
What was his ranking?
I'll text him.
Kim
What
on
are
the
your
phone.
thoughts, sir? Yeah. So I honestly, I feel a lot like you, Betsy, where I like the song. I didn't really have a connection to him from my childhood or upbringing. Even after realizing, oh, it's this guy, I still even learning the past hour or two about what I had about him, not just what I knew from him, but his whole history. I think it's a great song, and I think my biggest concern, if anyone's listened to our Radical Face season, Nick and I argued more than we ever do, which is really interesting because we don't normally argue about music. But I get really fixated on how music functions for me, and if it doesn't function in that, it's not as relatable. And so I still kind of stand by I think this is a great homage to him and a really pretty song, but to me it doesn't function much outside of that. But in that function, I think it's fantastic. I think it hits every mark. And then I also agree that musically, and I have one BNL question I want to ask before we all sign off later, but I love musically where it was in 2021, 2022. So I say 3.6 is where I'm standing.
Okay. So far, Betsy's the hater.
Yeah. I got 3 dots from Nick still, so I'll let you know what he says when.
Well, I'll go to mine,
there.
then we'll add his in and mix it around the other way after.
I just got it. He says, "I was gonna give it a 3.25. It's good for what it is. On a scale of movie TV stuff, I usually have low expectations, so definitely exceeded. But on a normal music scale, wouldn't be revisiting too often."
Seems fair.
Then I text back a
Ooh.
1.7. Serious?
What?
Maybe we should remind him of the scale.
3.25.
I was gonna say, it's like a one really bad
Oh, yeah.
concussion and one concussion, but there was a little foam rubber that obscured it a little bit.
I think this is perfect for what they made it for. It really fits Bob Einstein, and the music fits him really well. I think that he would have been honored by this song. It describes him perfectly without ever coming right out and saying who they're singing about. You're right. It's not something that I would be able to show to someone and they'd be like, yeah, I relate to that. No, you're not going to relate to the song. But the same with One Little Slip. You're not going to relate to that song either. It's about a movie. Or Laser Team.
Ooh, Laser Team. I haven't thought about that in forever.
Laser Team. Yeah.
Or Big Bang Theory, these songs are meant to introduce for a film or end a film.
I would
and it
disagree with One
perfectly
Little Slip,
blends
but
for
continue.
You should have
Speaker
done
has
that
the floor.
back when we discussed that.
No.
But
I do enough.
so
I yield my time.
I'm gonna give this a 4.
Very good.
Nice.
Very good.
And as you guys can tell, I
Barenaked.
really love Super Dave. And like they said in the song, he liked to subvert your expectations. There are these times when you'd expect the crash to come, and it doesn't. And then it doesn't. And I just remember thinking, just wait, because it always comes. Sometimes in ways that you don't see, but just wait because it's coming. Just like when the pun for this week, because sometimes you don't see it coming, but it already happened.
It's because you wanted it that
you.
way. Just wait.
Because next week's song is Just Wait.
Oh, Aaron, come on, man.
Aaron, 300 episodes in, you're still not getting the puns? You know what? I know it'll come someday. Just wait.
I'm trying not to.
Just spoiler. If you could factor the. Well, no, never mind. I was going to factor my score into that. I like that song though. I'll say that much.
It's a fun song.
Guys, back on, but
we only have 20 songs left to discuss. That's it.
Wow. And then
we're down to 20
Stephen
songs.
Page.
Yeah.
And then
turning the page.
I will be on if allowed, every episode of
And if we're gonna do it,
we will have you on. We will take you for that.
That makes a lot of sense. Tracy.
Mwah. if you don't mind though, I have a BNL philosophy question that I haven't got to ask because I'm not normally surrounded by BNL fans like this. So there's literally thousands of them. But,
literally.
Okay, so this question came up on a Coldplay subreddit the other day with the same kind of concept of basically somebody was like, "Do you think they've sold out?" And I had a whole long, because sometimes I do this. I did this whole thing, and I was like, I don't think about Coldplay. I don't think they have. I think what they like to do has changed, and what they're doing now, whether you think it's too poppy or not like the old, whatever it is, they're enjoying what they're doing. And I don't think it is this is what the market wants thing.
Yeah.
So my question is the same about BNL, because I think the biggest difference is that they're not as currently relevant, I would say, as a thing like Coldplay is. But they still have that same kind of thing going on where they're trending towards the songs that we're all kind of, rolling our eyes on. So my question is, like, do you think that's genuine? I don't know if I have an answer. Do you think that's genuinely what they want to do?
I'll let Tracy take it because he's going to say the same thing that I'm going to say. So go ahead, Tracy. It's gone on record. I absolutely think
that. I absolutely think that they are playing what they want to play, and at least in my opinion, that's a mistake. Because
what do you mean, like at performances or like new material?
Like their new material, and even at performances, I think that in concert they are playing what they want to play, but it could be seen as pandering because they keep playing a lot of the same songs. But they're going for the we have these 5 songs that everyone's going to want to hear. Well, I got to tell you guys, no, that's not true. Like I could go to a concert for BNL and be happy not hearing one week If I Had $1 Million, Pinch Me.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it enough times. Yeah. I'm good. You don't have to replay those. Give me your B-sides.
Yeah.
But I don't think that they're pandering.
Okay, cool.
Matter of fact, I think that if they pandered, it would be a completely... Like, we would be hearing completely different records.
They'd be a pander bear. Because it's Maine. And you say, with an
Okay, I like that one.
It's pretty good. Yeah, pander bear is pretty good.
I like that one.
Pander bear.
It might... Pander bear is...
Pander bear is up there.
It's like one of the Care Bears.
Up there.
Hold on.
That's a good band name. I want to start a band called Pander Bear.
It's one of the Care Bears, what's a people pleaser?
Hold on. I sleep with it every
God,
night.
yay!
I'm now trying to think what the
That's
symbol
really nice.
on the chest would be for the Pander Bear.
What?
It'd be like...
So on the belly you could have...
a hand holding out like this. Like this.
A politician talking out of both sides of his mouth.
Nice.
There you go.
Okay. I mean...
That's good.
Pander Bear, that could be the name of like
Maybe
our
this
band.
is why
We
they
could have
don't
a
come
band
on. I'm
called
sorry,
Pander
guys.
Bear. No, I love this. This reminds me of why didn't the koala bear run in the Olympics?
Why?
He didn't qualify.
You give me 5 more seconds.
See, I was just gonna say because he was high
It
on the
hurts me
eucalyptus
too.
leaves, but you know,
I was thinking something about eucalyptus. I
Yeah,
couldn't figure
it's
it out.
definitely a performance-enhancing plant.
there's a reason that they're always up in the trees, just sitting there chilling.
Clears your sinuses up, right? You've had a Halls.
Doping on dope. Yeah, I know. Breathe, my pasty friend.
Oh my god, that
that
just triggered a memory.
commercial?
Yeah. Breathe, my pasty friend. Breathe.
Oh my god. I was gonna say something else, but I totally forgot. Nah, it's another. Yeah,
the concussions.
it's just
We've
another day.
We've all
Another
suffered.
day in the life. I know. I'm pretty fucked up.
You have a 3.4 concussion. Your head's
Confessions, Part 5.
Hey, who wants
Yeah,
to go to
who's
the hospital?
driving? Ooh. Call the ambulance.
Yeah, we need to get an Uber.
Yeah,
No one can drive it.
no one's gonna be able to pay him.
an Uber pool to the hospital.
It's much
Yeah.
cheaper than an ambulance.
Sure, that makes sense. Ambulances are like $1,000, man.
Do you realize all this is staying in?
Anyway. Oh no.
That's
No,
great.
this has to go on the Patreon, the
yeah.
After Dark.
After hours.
Please subscribe to our non-existent Patreon.
All of our listeners
literally
out
just-
there, if you're
No, we don't have one.
I was like, I feel like I would have
Yeah.
It's an
known about this.
OnlyFans.
I support you in all
Thank
your
you.
endeavors.
Yeah.
we know we
For
have
real.
an artistic person out there, please create a pander bear.
Oh God. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Noah, we know you're listening.
Yes. Create a
Pander
pander
bear.
bear. That's what you need to create.
Noah, you need to create the pander bear.
A puppet. A pander bear puppet.
Oh
would be
my god,
fantastic.
I am tweeting him
Noah,
after we're
please
done.
get on
Sorry,
this.
are we saying Xing now, or do we say we X someone?
No.
No, I just had a conversation with a coworker about this. I'm like, I'm not a super. Well, I was gonna say I'm not a petty person, but that's not 100% true. But one of the few petty things I intentionally do is I will never call it
Yeah.
X. Like he'll never know, it'll never affect
Is this
him, but
Elon
my heart
Musk?
feels proud
What?
of it. So
Oh,
yeah,
Elon Musk, we know you
elongated
listen. Don't come on the
muskrat.
show.
we know you listen. Please don't.
also Musk. Doesn't smell so
Yeah, he's
good.
a little musky.
Anyway.
Yeah.
You know, over Zoom, that's
Yeah, I
important.
know. You can see the green waves emanating.
Well, that's why he's trying to put chips in
Yeah.
people's heads, is to get like the smell-o-vision thing going, so he can directly stimulate the nerve that makes you smell his musk, and then he will rule the world. He does sound like out of a comic book, honestly.
I mean, he does sound like that character from Phineas and Ferb.
I've never
Me
seen Phineas
either.
and Ferb.
There's so much to watch. How can you possibly watch everything?
It's one of those weird things. I was Dr. Doofenshmirtz for Halloween 2 years
I like
ago.
the name.
I hadn't watched the show in years, but
Doofenshmirtz.
I had a lab coat and a black long sleeve
You
shirt.
go far with that. Get
Kind
up.
of like,
Yeah.
what do I have in my pantry? Worked well.
Actually, you know, Elon Musk, I gotta correct that. Elon Musk would be Dr. Evil.
Oh, I thought you said dark or evil. I was like, I don't know. It doesn't seem dark. Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Well, I was gonna say Bezos, but Bezos is Lex Luthor. So
yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good.
He's the actual evil, whereas Elon is just the guy we sit there and go, "You're evil," but we laugh
Yeah.
at
he's
you.
the
Goofy.
inept. Yeah, he's inept, so it's less sinister because you're like, he can't do much.
As he
Even with
buys
all that
our
money.
podcast network.
Everything.
Look, man, if Elon, that changes things. If Elon wants to buy us out,
Yeah.
sell now. We need those Elon bucks, man. I want the Tesla money.
Yeah.
Elon books. Don't give me that.
Yeah, oh no, he pays you. It's his company script, you know. It's like it's all a company town now. We're just working for Elon bucks.
Well, JD,
Fruit
thank
bucks.
you for joining us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'll thank Nick
Yes,
as well.
tell Nick, thank you for joining
Thanks,
us
Nick.
as well.
Thanks, JD.
You're welcome back when we hit
having
Stephen Page. We would love to have you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I will. I said this last
Yeah.
time, but I will genuinely look at the whole schedule and see what's coming up and
Sweet.
see if there's any spots because it's genuinely always super fun whenever we get to come on. And like I said, we've recorded a podcast this year, and it was 3 months ago, so we got to
Yeah.
get back.
Say
I
that.
mean, again, life is life, but we got to get back into it. So, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, Betsy keeps saying
Thank you
she's
for
going
having
to
me.
do the John Colton one, but
Yeah, I would love to.
That's
do
how I
Jonathan
took it as
Colton.
well.
We
Yes.
need to do.
I could also do a Jonathan
Colton
Colton
or like
podcast.
yeah.
That's what I thought we were talking.
Anyway, whatever. It's a few years
Joko, we know
off.
you listen. Come on the show.
Yeah, that hair. Anyway,
After that pun, I don't think he wants to.
It is the hair. It's magical. It's
it's
magical
everything.
hair.
Anyway,
He looks like he's out of a Pantene Pro V commercial.
scrunched it. Nice
Anyway.
seeing you guys.
Oh, have a great
Have a good
night,
night,
guys.
Awkward exit.
Tuck and roll.
That's how I roll. Oh no, he really did tuck and roll.
Tracy, are you okay? Did you hit your head?
Tracy,
Oh,
come
I
on.
landed on my head.
No. Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you alright?
Sorry, I landed on my
cleanly.
head. The pain.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It sounds like you landed on your throat. But that's a
That's
good.
how Bob
good
Einstein
prediction.
talked.
I know. I just said 3 times it's a good Bob Einstein. It's okay. It's not your fault.
Well, my
just
internet
worried-
stable connection is unstable. So
I can appreciate feeling that
Oh,
way.
me too.
have a great night, guys.
Hell no, I'm not asking for attention. Seems though I may have increased all the tension. Let go, maybe we won't need to mention how I landed on my head.